Good morning, people. It's Coach Simmons. And you know what? It's time we just take off the gloves, man. Let's just go ahead and realize what's going on. I'm going to give a model and show a point that some people are way behind the time. But at the same time, it may be something we have to do. You have to bite the bullet. At the same time, focus on yourself. First, in the words of my man DJ R-Truth, let's play the bumper.
Me and you, your mama and your cousin too.
Now, $1 billion a year. We're not comparing. Only a dumbass will compare with what the SWAC gets to $1 billion a year. I'm not a dumbass. Let's go ahead and let's get this out the way. This is what the Big Ten Network was. It's a joint venture between the Big Ten Conference and Fox Networks. Big Ten, you can read the thing on the screen. I don't got to read it for you. This was a 20-year agreement. A 20-year agreement. They used Fox to help build up their network. The Fox Sports app is a digital extension of the Big Ten Network. Deliver live games, on demand and everything. Studio shows. You know, the shows they have on Big Ten Network. Football, men's basketball, dozens of sports, championship events, studio shows, classic games, original programming highlight. Basically, people, everything I have been saying for the last year, everything, saying for the last year the SWAC needs to do. The Big Ten Network was doing it. How many classic games does the SWAC have? How many times have I told you about your history? I would love to see what Walter Payton looked like. Even though they weren't in the SWAC at the time, show me that damn FAMU beat Massachusetts for the national championship game. Show your history. Show Steve Ed McNair. This is what they've been doing. Building up their brand to now $1 billion a year. Network is carried by all major video distributors across the country. DirecTV, Dish Network, Verizon, AT&T U-verse, Charter, Spectrum, Infinity. You can read, right? This is what they've been doing. Now, the program includes 40 plus football games. They don't put on every football game because it's not just one network. They have an agreement for 40 plus. More than 135 basketball games, 10 Big Ten tournament games, 80 women's basketball games, hundreds of additional Olympic sports, weight training, track and field, dozens of championship events, studio shows. How big would it be if HBCU football came together? Oh, let's put it like this. Let's focus on the SWAC in general, not HBCU football. You know what? This for my fans out there, the SWAC and the MEAC. If the SWAC and the MEAC came together, just those two conferences, with this sort of deal, and brought in HBCU game day, hell, brought in Tomorrow Leader Sports Network, I don't care, brought somebody in to have a Big Ten Live, a Big Ten game show, tailgate. I specifically remember last year, like I said, I'm taking off the gloves, man. I specifically last year, remember, I told my man Cut Day, I'm like, dog, you and Scotty need to go to these games and have your own tailgate. Y'all need to go to the big events, just like they do college game day, and have a tailgate. Conversation never went further than that. But how big would that be? Take the shows out of your rooms, put them up. Neither here nor there. But if the SWAC and MEAC, they don't want to use those two, that's fine. Have their own tailgate. This is the model the SWAC should do. And commitment to women's sports. The thing about women's sports, we have the biggest media blitz in Jackson State women's basketball for the last 2 years. None of the games were shown. Let's get a Jackson State network. Possibly. So outside of the city of Jackson, no one knew what the hell was going on. This is what we need to do. What else could you possibly say? Now, I understand. I get it. No disrespect. Please don't sue me. I understand Byron Allen has his own network, has his channel, has his app. I don't know what the contract is. Nobody does, because they're not telling nobody. I don't know what is going on with that contract. But if this contract is not going to give you something like this, it's not worth it. Now, if you want to have the numbers be switching or whatever, the key part about this whole contract is that the Big Ten kept 51% of the ownership. It never gave up ownership. People may say, well, you got 49%. That's not how math works. How math works is, yes, I make $100. I give you 49% of that, $49. But since I got 51% stake in this, I get to say what goes and what doesn't go. This is the key thing. If you're going to give up all your content, make damn sure you have a majority stake in it. Only a fool would give up 100% of your content that you have been building since this is history you're giving up. From 1921, giving up everything. If you don't have 100% stake in your, well, not 100%, but majority stake in what you're giving up, everything is available. I'm talking about back in Jackie Robinson coaching at Sam Houston. I'm talking about all of the great football players, all the great basketball players. The complete package of your history. Even schools that are no longer around or have left the SWAC. You, as a SWAC, have rights over that content. You can't tell me that it's worth losing. Is that something that you're willing to let go? No. The model we have, look, if you want to sign for 10 years, $5 million a year, whatever, if you take $250,000 a year for the contract, you a fool. But if you sign for 10 years or 5 years, 6 years, whatever, and if you're willing to give up your own, all of your content, it's what you're obviously willing to do, and you do not have a 51% stake in that content, you're wasting the history of your ancestors. They were given to you. Blood, sweat, and tears. And you giving it up. The SWAC is the third oldest conference. I need people to understand what I'm telling you. You are the third oldest conference in college football. There are only two D1 conferences bigger or older than the SWAC. That is the Big Ten, which was founded in 1896. The Valley was founded in 1907. The SWAC was founded in 1920. That's what your content is. It's 102 years of history. I'm tired of beating this bush. It's very simple, folks. If you're not willing to get it out of the mud and do it yourself, maybe signing a deal with someone who is willing to get out the mud is fine if you maintain control. If you allow them to have 100% stake, or even 51% stake, or 50-50, you're basically giving away 102 years of Black history. Coach Simmons, make an impact. Damn the views.